Good morning, everybody. May 3rd, 2015. Doing another one of these broadcasts, and I want to ask a couple of questions here. I know I don't get anybody to come on here. This is a live streaming right now. If other people could do that, they can come on and have a intelligent or maybe even not so intelligent conversation with me on these videos. Anybody could screw my video up. The kind of person I am, I might delete it if the person or whoever interacts with me on here doesn't act right. I wish I had at times people to talk to, but that's all good. Let me see if I can put this out. I'm gonna put this. Uh-oh. I accidentally killed it. Sorry. Alright. Let me see here. No. I'm gonna go. What I'm doing is I'm trying to go to social places like Facebook. I'll post this. Let's see if it works. Let's see. Sign in Google account. Doing it. Sure. Anyway. Three. Thanks. It is on. Versus traditional, right? And versus federal government. Oh. This, I say capital. The thing don't work right, I guess. It has to go 7 instead of and, you know? I push that and it's ridiculous. Okay. Sign in to Google. Wait. 2. Video. What? So that's gonna be a little bit longer, huh? Sorry, that's cool. See more. Yes, it goes right to it, doesn't it? There we are. Sweet. I'll put on some other media. Thanks. Thanks. Shark Alarm. Yes, my name is Christopher Columbus. And third. Thanks. I posted it. I'll hurry up and then get right back to it. So I was thinking about welfare versus constitutional rights. So I'd say like the deeper that we get on welfare or we're getting public funds, the deeper that we are um, actually de-evolving, not evolving like scale to having a job and doing everything legit. Like if you move to another job, you would give a 2 week notice. Quit. Legitimate. You know, so your scale going up as far as your pay to the lowest of what you could get paid. Welfare. Um, how does that affect how does that bear on the Constitution? Your constitutional, uh, right, your rights. Without this, dude, what else? Let's see. Without that, now, no, if, uh, peace. Middle. So I was just thinking that it bears on, um, if you have, let's say you're on a certain pay scale, even like maybe even in public, like say you're a paper boy, you old person knowing to deliver a paper. I did it before a long time ago in my 20s, but you wouldn't be respected very much in this little, you know, pansy little job throwing paper, every morning necessarily. Depending on how many jobs a person operates, somebody doing that could be operating, 3, maybe even up to 4 things, multiple. You got internet plays in the perspective too. So when people's free time, they can make up a lot of time on the internet. But say people aren't doing that, say they're on welfare. So how would that bear on um, us if bearing on like our constitutional rights? Um, I'm thinking that it bears on to due to certain politicians because of some of the rights I would think that would bear that they would be taken away from us. Say so if I were to get into HUD housing, say I had to get into HUD housing. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Hi. I'm talking about welfare versus say people on a higher pay scale. How that affects their how maybe like politicians maybe look at them because it kind of what I'm talking about goes into What I think, like their services that they provide for people, I think in their opinion, they are not thinking that we have very too many rights, you know. So, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, all people have rights, whether you're poor, middle class, or upper class. We all have the same rights as people. Um,
Okay. You don't think that some politicians try to like play us off, like they don't think that, or like even try to take some of our rights away, like gun control, because gun control is a big myth. If you look it up anywhere on
mm,
the internet, it's it's not what a politician would tell you is
oh
happening
yeah,
out there.
yeah.
So, do you?
So you want to get a hold of some guns? You want to
No,
be able to hold a
I don't.
gun?
I don't particularly have any guns. I'll be open with that, and I'll tell you that myself. I don't.
Right.
It's not that I don't believe in them or anything like that. I just don't feel like I'd need any reason to have one in particular. If I did, I would probably have one. But other people, they have them like in their house or they carry them. I think that there's enough laws already out there. So I think also possibly with people or politicians in particular, they get away with murder. In my opinion, they're making more and more laws that pertain to us. Look at Hillary Clinton. She made laws that pertains to her, but she still comes off like it pertains to us, and she didn't do what she gonna do anyways. You know. So, anyways, all right. See you later. Anyways, so he might have disagreed with me on that, but he didn't have much to say. He had a perfect opportunity to say whatever he had come to his mind, and it had to have been intelligent. It couldn't have been stupid either, because if he would have came off stupid right there, then it would not have looked right good for the left right there in particular. Okay, so I'm just saying I'm not an advocate for liberalism. Okay, I don't freely think that we need to go out here and give all these people all these grants and everything else from the government. I think the government needs to leave a lot of people alone to be able to make up their own decisions and get out of the way. I think there's a lot of red tape that bulk BS that we need to cut through, you know, and around election times, it's very important for us to pay a lot of attention to what's going on. So now the next thing that I was talking about here, okay, was states versus the federal government. Okay, the states were set up and intended to be their own law type of procedural type of progression. So states have their own persuasion when it comes to law, not the persuasion that originally came from the federal government was only to not to interfere, but was to help um, kind of mend some of the stuff. So it wasn't to actually interfere with the state at all. If I could explain that thoroughly, states were supposed to make their own rules when it came down to it. Bottom line, because they were a model. It was a role model for other states. Um, and so if a state makes a law and the law is screwed up, then you can have them come in there. But I was going to talk about um, California versus gay marriage. I was going to talk about that in particular. So California, I don't know if very many people even pay attention to that much, even though this happened. But California voted down gay marriage. There, 7 million people. So a couple of Supreme Court judges, okay, they went around the country after they said, okay, you guys have the right to vote. You can vote if you want. So then they didn't get their way when they said that they didn't want that in their state. And the only thing that pertains to this logically is if gay marriage harms the law or the state, if it did any kind of damage or whatever. So the only way that the federal government can exceed its bounds to go in there and tell California that with the Supreme Court is if it harmed the state by saying gay people cannot be married here. And I don't see the harm in that because some people argue, I argue that it's perversion, that it'll open, it's a gateway, it's going to open it up to um, little kids, people who have first sign of their conscience to their minds, they're going to be exposed to it. So that's my argument, my first argument. But they'll say like, um, they'll say things like, you have um, this legality. So if somebody, if they don't get married, right, uh, they have legal rights, their own personal legal rights, like their properties and stuff. They can't talk to the other person if they're not married or something like that. But they can all seek legal rights attorneys and pay whatever attorneys would charge to have that all arranged for them, like whatever a marriage would give to people constitutionally in a marriage. Two gay people, whether man or women, can go see an attorney, seek an attorney, and by doing that, they can grant themselves the whatever you'd say custodial rights. That's what I was thinking in my mind. But the legal bearing over the other person, whatever, the right to pull the plug, the property, the children bear, and stuff like that. So um, all I can say is people are not paying too much of attention. I'm just trying to, I'm making not these arguments to try to like beat anybody up or anything like that. I just want people really thinking about what's going on, and I don't want them to let these guys get away with this stuff anymore. And I'm not necessarily, like I said, an advocate anymore. I helped Senator Marco Rubio on his campaign in 2010. And right now, what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking with most Republicans, you're going to get a little wishy-washy stuff. With liberals, you're going to get a bunch of hogwash. I don't think that they tell the truth at all. You know, in their government programs that they're giving people, is that not taking people's rights away? I was saying gun. I said the gun rights in particular. 'Cause if I say I want to go get one, there's a laws that say I could get one, and they bear if I misuse that thing. I always say the more you learn the weapon, like go to schools and stuff, the better off you'll be with it. But with that objection in particular, the firearm. Okay, if I was put in HUD, I said HUD earlier, they're going to give me, whether I'm a convicted felon or not, they're going to tell me, oh, well, you can't apply here if you are a convicted felon. That's one constitutional law the federal government will break, no matter who Republican or Democrat you have in there, right? And two, they're going to say you can't have a firearm. If you're in a bad neighborhood and you really need a firearm because of where you're at, then I just I object to that completely. There's old people out there. They need to have weapons that are, you know, they're not gonna freaking jerk their hand out of their hand when they shoot it. They can shoot dead accurate if they have to, and they're an old person by themselves, and they're in a situation with somebody who breaks in their house or something like that. Come on, people, and they've got federal judges going around pushing states around. That's all I'm saying. I just want people to think about that. I wish that I could have somebody come on there and had given quite the objection, but I really need to put out what I'm saying first, because this is my video first and foremost, before I can really let anybody have the floor on my video either. So this is another download that I do, so that it lets me directly download this. It's live, but it goes right to my channel and it'll become an archive. So anyhow, this is independent media, high IQ. I'm sorry for the other guy. I'll go back and I'll try and listen to what he was saying, but I think he was I don't know exactly what he was gonna try and say, but he had to leave evidently because it sounded like he was trying to have a sound uh, statement or argument or whatever he was trying to say, but it didn't work out for him. So I applaud him for trying to come on and say something. And sorry if he felt interrupted, but I really needed to get what I had to say out there. So I appreciate anybody that watches, and thanks.